Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nipunika Shahid with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says infrastructure development should be kept above politics, asserts dedicated freight corridors will help in resolving problems of delayed passenger and goods train services. Dry run for COVID-19 vaccination concludes successfully in 4 states. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.92%. Union Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurates the country's highest meteorological centre at Leh. And in cricket, skipper Ajinkya Rahane guides India to a series levelling victory against Australia in second test at Melbourne. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the development of the country's infrastructure should be kept above politics. He said the country's infrastructure should be a mission to benefit many generations. The Prime Minister was speaking after dedicating to the nation the new Bhavpur-New Khurja section and Operation Control Centre of Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor EDFC in Uttar Pradesh through video conferencing. Mr. Modi said if political parties have to compete, there should be competition in the quality of infrastructure, competition on speed and scale. He advised against damaging public property during demonstrations and movements. He urged people not to forget one's obligation to the nation while expressing their democratic rights.
एक और मानसिकता का भी जिक्र करना जरूरी समझता हूं, जो अक्सर हम प्रदर्शनों और आंदोलनों के दौरान देखते हैं। ये मानसिकता देश की संपत्ति को नुकसान पहुंचाने की है। हमें याद रखना चाहिए कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये संपत्ति किसी नेता की, किसी दल की, किसी सरकार की नहीं है। ये संपत्ति देश की है, ये संपत्ति आपकी है, हमारे समाज के हर वर्ग का इसके पीछे पसीना लगा हुआ है, उसका पैसा लगा हुआ है। इसको लगने वाली हर चोट देश के गरीब, देश के सामान्य जन को चोट है। इसलिए अपना लोकतांत्रिक अधिकार जताते हुए हमें अपने राष्ट्रीय दायित्व को भी नहीं भूलना चाहिए।
The 351-kilometre new Bhavpur-New Khurja section of EDFC is built at a cost of 5,750 crore rupees and most of it passes through Uttar Pradesh. The section will decongest the existing Kanpur-Delhi main rail line and enable the Indian Railways to run faster trains. The Operation Control Centre at Prayagraj will act as the command centre for the entire route length of the EDFC. The Prime Minister said this corridor will become a medium of Atmanirbhar Bharat. He opined that this corridor will open new economic activities and boost employment opportunities in the region.
ये फ्रेट कॉरिडोर आत्मनिर्भर भारत के बहुत बड़े माध्यम बनेंगे। उद्योग हो, व्यापार कारोबार हो, किसान हो या फिर कंज्यूमर, हर किसी को इनका लाभ मिलने वाला है। लुधियाना और वाराणसी का कपड़ा निर्माता हो या फिरोजपुर का किसान, अलीगढ़ का ताला निर्माता हो या राजस्थान का संगमरमर कारोबारी, मलिहाबाद का आम उत्पादक हो या कानपुर और आगरा का लेदर उद्योग, भदोही का कालीन उद्योग हो या फिर फरीदाबाद की कार इंडस्ट्री, हर किसी के लिए ये अवसर ही अवसर लेकर आया है।
Talking about the importance of connectivity in development, Mr. Modi termed the corridor as the biggest and most important rail project after independence. Mr. Modi said the Prayagraj Operation Control Centre is one of the modern control centres and a symbol of the new strength of New India. The Prime Minister said both passenger trains and goods trains fly on the same track in the country and the speed of the goods train is slow, due to which there is interruption at places. The Prime Minister said with such dedicated freight corridors, problems of delayed passenger and goods trains would be resolved.
माल गाड़ियों के लिए बनी इस प्रकार की विशेष सुविधाओं से भारत में यात्री ट्रेन की लेट लतीफी समस्या कम होगी। इससे मालगाड़ी की स्पीड भी 3 गुना से ज्यादा हो जाएगी। मालगाड़ियां जब समय पर पहुंचेगी तो हमारा लॉजिस्टिक नेटवर्क सस्ता होता जाएगा, जिसका हमारे निर्यात को लाभ होगा। देश में उद्योग के लिए बेहतर माहौल बनेगा, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस बढ़ेगी, निवेश के लिए भारत और आकर्षक बनेगा। देश में रोजगार के, स्वरोजगार के अनेक नए अवसर भी तैयार होंगे।
Mr. Modi said about 60% of the corridor falls in Uttar Pradesh, which would attract a lot of industries towards the state. He said Kisan Rail would be benefited due to this freight corridor.
कल ही देश में 100वीं किसान रेल की शुरुआत की गई है। किसान रेल से खेती से जुड़ी उपज को देश भर के बड़े बड़े बाजारों में सुरक्षित और कम कीमत पर पहुंचाना संभव हुआ है। अब नए फ्रेट कॉरिडोर में किसान रेल और भी तेजी से अपने गंतव्य पर पहुंचेगी। उत्तर प्रदेश में भी किसान रेल से अनेक स्टेशन जुड़ चुके हैं और इनमें लगातार बढ़ोतरी की जा रही है।
The centre has invited the protesting farmer unions for talks tomorrow to end the impasse over the 3 farm laws. This will be the 6th round of talk between the government and farmers to end the deadlock. The centre has written to the 40 protesting farmer unions and invited them for talks. Apart from the farm laws, discussions will be held on minimum support price and on legislation related to air quality and the electricity. The government has reiterated that it is committed to finding a logical solution on all relevant issues raised by the farmers with a clear intention and an open mind. The invite for the resumption of talks came following a proposal made by the farmer unions to hold discussion today. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal today said that the newly designed Vistadome tourist coach successfully completed 180 km per hour during speed trial. In a tweet, Mr. Goyal said these coaches will make train journey memorable for the passengers and give further boost to tourism. The minister said the UNESCO World Heritage Site Nilgiri Mountain Railway in Tamil Nadu will resume operations from 31st December this year. He also informed that Indian Railways has conducted successful trial run of electric loco on newly electrified line between Bangao and Petropol in West Bengal. Mr. Goyal said Railways is working in mission mode to transform West Bengal's rail infrastructure to boost the state's economy.
In a significant measure to boost passenger safety, the government has proposed to make airbag mandatory for the passenger on the front seat of a vehicle seated next to the driver. The proposed timelines for implementation are the 1st of April next year for new models and the 1st of June for existing models. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has put a draft notification in this regard on its website. People can send their comments and suggestions at email ID comments-morth@gov.in within 30 days. The Union Environment Ministry has asked South Delhi Municipal Corporation SDMC to ensure compliance of radio frequency identification RFID system at all the 13 toll plazas from the 1st of January next year in view of pollution scenario in the national capital. The RFID system was set up at these toll plazas in Delhi to control vehicular pollution from commercial vehicles. About 70% commercial vehicles enter Delhi through these toll plazas. The SDMC has also been asked to disallow entry of vehicles without RFID tags or inadequate balance in the tags. The municipal corporation has been directed to give adequate publicity and advance intimation to minimize inconvenience to the drivers of commercial vehicles entering Delhi.
Gujarat government has announced its new solar power policy 2021 today. As per the policy, any person, developer or industry can set up a solar project in its premises or land without any limit. A limit of only 50% of sanctioned load contract demand for industries to set up the solar project has been removed in the new policy. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has announced his new solar energy policy of the state. Addressing the press conference at Gandhinagar, he said that this policy will bring down power cost to industry from rupees 8 per unit to around rupees 4.50. It will reduce the production cost, which will help the state manufacturers globally competitive. According to the policy, the power consumers will be able to set up solar projects on their rooftop or vacant place. They can also offer their space to third party for power generation and utilization. Security deposit given to power companies has been cut from rupees 25 lakh per megawatt to rupees 5 lakh per megawatt. New solar power policy will remain effective for next 5 years. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says infrastructure development should be kept above politics, asserts dedicated freight corridors will help in resolving problems of delayed passengers and goods train services. Dry run for COVID-19 vaccination concludes successfully in 4 states. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.92%. Union Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurates country's highest meteorological centre at Leh. And in cricket, skipper Ajinkya Rahane guides India to series levelling victory against Australia in second test at Melbourne. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has touched 95.92%. Total recoveries have reached 98,07,569 with 24,900 recoveries in the last 24 hours. With 16,432 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, total cases reached 1,224,303. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said 252 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, which has taken the death toll to 1,48,153. The ministry said the active cases of coronavirus are continuously declining and it is less than 2.7 lakh in the country. The positivity rate during the last week stood at only 2.25%. Briefing media in New Delhi, Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium labs have started genome sequencing of the new variants reported from the UK.
INSA-CoG नाम की एक कंसोर्शियम की स्थापना की गई है. इसमें देश के 10 गवर्नमेंट लैब्स हैं. 11 महीने में लगभग 5,000 के करीब जीनोम सीक्वेंस किए गए थे और उन जीनोम सीक्वेंसेस के आधार पर हम इस निष्कर्ष पर पहुंचे थे कि देश के भीतर जहां वायरस ड्रिफ्ट के मामले हैं, वायरस शिफ्ट के मामले नहीं हैं, उस परिप्रेक्ष्य में जब ये यूके से वेरिएंट वायरस की खबर आई तो फिर ये माना गया कि एक बड़ा कंसोर्शियम बनाया जाए और सब लोग मिलकर काम करें और बड़े पैमाने पर जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग की जाए.
Niti Aayog member Health Dr. V.K. Paul said a majority of the population is still susceptible to COVID-19 infection, especially in the current cold weather. He said the UK variant has travelled to several other countries and also to India. He advised people to remain careful.
The government has assured that vaccines will work against the new variants of the coronavirus and there is no evidence that current vaccines will fail to protect against the new variants reported from the UK and South Africa. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Principal Scientific Advisor K. Vijay Raghavan said that the changes in the variants of coronavirus are not sufficient to make the vaccines ineffective. He said most vaccines target the spike protein and stimulate our immune system to produce a wide range of protective antibodies. Hyderabad-based CSIR CCMB Director Dr. Rakesh K. Mishra today said there is no need to panic about the new corona variant originated from the UK. He asked the people to be careful and take measures to prevent the spread of the virus. Speaking to our correspondent, he advocated for a strong surveillance mechanism to be put in place.
We are putting surveillance with the help of other agencies and other labs and central government to identify as early as possible new variants that may emerge. India is the second largest collection of virus in terms of number of people infected. So the chance that a new variant can emerge from within the country is very high. So that is why we have to keep a very efficient, strong surveillance system so that if new variant appears, we can restrict it and control it before it becomes a problem. Surveillance system is already in place. It's just a matter of getting the sample and start doing in coordinated way. We have already started doing and we will continue that. And other labs are now joining in. Center has made a coordination team into government, and there are some 10 labs that are involved all over the country.
The Union Health Ministry today said the dry run for COVID-19 vaccination has been conducted successfully in 4 states of Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Gujarat. The 2-day end-to-end dry run was undertaken in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, Rajkot and Gandhinagar in Gujarat, Ludhiana and Shahid Bhagat Singh Nagar in Punjab and Sonitpur and Nalbari districts of Assam. The exercise is aimed at identifying challenges and making required changes in the plan so that the final process becomes foolproof. The ministry said specific teams were formed for various tasks by the district administration and activities like uploading of dummy beneficiaries' data, vaccine allocation, communication vaccination details to vaccinators and beneficiaries, beneficiary mobilization were carried out. The objective of the dry run was also to undertake and confirm field implementation of IT platform CoWIN and guide the way forward prior to actual implementation. In Maharashtra, the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai MCGM today said schools and colleges in city limits will remain shut till the 15th of next month. According to a press statement issued this evening, the MCGM said although the COVID situation in the city is under control, in the wake of a second wave of the infectious disease in other countries as well as the condition in other states, it has been decided to shut the schools and colleges in the Mumbai city limits till the 15th of January 2021. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
As per the latest order, schools of all medium and managements will continue to remain shut from 1st to 15th January 2021. 16th and 17th January, being Saturday and Sunday, the American consulate schools and other consulate schools will reopen from 18th of January 2021 by adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. Meanwhile, the Maharashtra government today said that tourists visiting Mumbai will get an opportunity to watch live shooting and also to interact with the artists from film and TV serials. An MOU in this regard was signed between the Maharashtra Tourism Directorate and Starcraft Manoranjan Private Limited. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Rajasthan, tourism sector is gaining momentum again after facing slowdown due to the COVID-19. Following the relaxation in restrictions, most of the tourist places in the state are buzzing with tourists. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
The state government opened its tourist destinations for tourists in June after the lockdown, but tourist footfalls remained low till September due to COVID. Tourism activities started getting momentum from October, which increased rapidly in November and December. Director of Department of Archaeology and Museum, Prakash Chandra Sharma, told that the arrival of domestic tourists is increasing rapidly.
अभी नवंबर में हमारे पास जो है 1,82,000 टूरिस्ट आए हैं और होपफुली दिसंबर में हमारे पास 3 लाख टूरिस्ट आए। तो ग्रेजुअली ये बढ़ता हुआ ट्रेंड है। आशा है कि जनवरी फरवरी में भी ये संख्या आगे और बढ़ेगी। फॉरेन टूरिस्ट इस समय बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा है। इस साल में करीब 1,000-1,500 के आसपास ही होगी जो कि इंडिया में कहीं पे काम करते होंगे, वो लोग होंगे।
There is hope from the increasing number of tourists that the tourism industry will touch new heights in the coming days. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has been nominated a member on the Gavi board by the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. Dr. Harshvardhan will represent India for 2 years starting from 2021 to 2023. The Gavi board oversees the operations of the Vaccine Alliance and monitors program implementation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of All India Institute of Medical Sciences AIIMS at Rajkot in Gujarat on Thursday at 11 a.m. through video conferencing. For the project, 201 acres of land has been allotted. It is expected to be completed by mid-2022. The state-of-the-art 750-bed hospital will also have a 30-bed Ayush block. It will have 125 MBBS seats and 60 nursing seats.
The Madhya Pradesh Cabinet approved the Dharma Swatantrata Religious Freedom Ordinance 2020. State Home Minister Narottam Mishra said the ordinance has been sent to the Governor for assent. The Madhya Pradesh Religious Bill 2020 was approved by the State Cabinet on Saturday and would have been tabled in the upcoming session of the Assembly, which has now been cancelled. Under the provisions of the ordinance, forced conversion of a woman will be punishable for a term of up to 10 years and a minimum fine of 50,000 rupees. Specific provisions are also made in the cases of religious conversion of minors, groups, or of those belonging to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Blood relatives, including parents of victims of such religious conversion, can file complaints, and any marriage solemnized only for the purpose of converting a person will be considered null and void. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
The ordinance was approved during a special cabinet meeting which was presided over by Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Bhopal. This comes after the 3-day assembly winter session was postponed yesterday. A provision is also being made that those willing to convert need to apply before the district administration 2 months in advance. The new ordinance will replace the Freedom of Religion Act 1968. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
At the stock markets, both the Sensex and Nifty posted fresh all-time highs today, but the rupee weakened slightly against the dollar. A report.
Rising for the fifth straight session, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange climbed 259 points, closed at a fresh all-time high of 47,613. The Nifty advanced 59 points to post another record high of 13,933. At the forex market, the rupee weakened 8 paise to end at 73.55 against the dollar. At the bullion market in Delhi, gold rose 39 rupees to 49,610 rupees per 10 grams, and Brent crude oil futures traded little unchanged. Rajesh Lake for AIR News.
The News Services Division brings glimpses of the year that was in our special series Year-Ender. The NDA government's Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana PMUY has acted as one of the biggest catalysts of socio-economic change in the status of women in the country. Launched in May 2016, the Ujjwala Yojana had achieved its revised target of providing 8 crore LPG connections to poor nearly 7 months ahead in September last year. Addressing a gathering in Maharashtra on the completion of the target in September 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said the scheme is helping millions of women in India.
उज्ज्वला योजना के तहत 8 करोड़ मुफ्त गैस कनेक्शन देने का जो संकल्प हमने लिया था वो सिद्ध हुआ है। सिर्फ सिद्ध ही नहीं हुआ बल्कि तय समय से 7 महीने पहले ही लक्ष्य को हमने पा लिया। इन 8 करोड़ कनेक्शन में से करीब 44 लाख अकेले महाराष्ट्र में दिए गए। इस उपलब्धि के लिए मैं आप सभी को, देश की हर उस बहन को जिसको धुएं से मुक्ति मिली है, बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मैं देश भर के उन साथियों को भी नमन करता हूं जिन्होंने इस योजना को सफल बनाने में बहुत मेहनत की है, मदद की है।
More details from our correspondent.
Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana aims at providing clean cooking fuel to the poor households which are otherwise vulnerable to various health hazards associated with indoor air pollution and bringing in qualitative changes in the living standards. Under this flagship scheme, free LPG connections is being provided in the name of an adult woman, member of a poor family. So far, over 8.3 crore LPG connections have been released. During this COVID-19 pandemic, this scheme has provided a big relief to poor as the government has given free of cost LPG refills for Ujjwala consumers for a period of 3 months. Over 9,709 crore rupees were transferred directly into the bank accounts of Ujjwala beneficiaries during April to June this year, and around 12 crore LPG cylinders were delivered. To rationalize LPG subsidy, the government has introduced well-targeted system of subsidy delivery to the consumers through PAHAL. This initiative has helped in identifying ghost accounts, multiple accounts and inactive accounts. Under PAHAL, till now around 27 crore beneficiaries have been given subsidy of over over 1,36,000 crore rupees through direct benefit transfer as a measure towards empowerment of poor women who are bereft of access to clean cooking gas. Ujjwala Yojana is enabling social change in the country. Divakar, AIR News, Delhi.
As the year 2020 comes to a close, All India Radio will broadcast a special program 2020 की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ. On 30th and 31st December, it will have glimpses of the major events of the year gone by.
2020 का ये गुजरता वर्ष क्या रहा खास? कौन अर्श पर तो कौन फर्श पर? सामाजिक, आर्थिक, वैश्विक और राजनीतिक पटल पर कौन सी घटनाओं ने अपनी छाप छोड़ी? वैश्विक कोरोना आपदा के बीच मनुष्य की जिंदा दिली की कहानी आकाशवाणी की जुबानी. सुनिए विशेष कार्यक्रम 2020 की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ. 30 दिसंबर बुधवार को और 31 दिसंबर बृहस्पतिवार को रात्रि 9:30 बजे से 10 बजे आकाशवाणी 100.1 FM गोल्ड चैनल पर. ये कार्यक्रम आकाशवाणी के YouTube चैनल न्यूज ऑन AIR ऑफिशियल, AIR न्यूज अलर्ट्स ट्विटर, फेसबुक पेज और पॉडकास्ट पर भी सुना जा सकता है.
Union Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurated India's highest meteorological centre virtually in Leh today. After the Itanagar Centre in Arunachal Pradesh, Leh Meteorological Centre at 3,500 metres above the mean sea level is the highest in the Himalayan region. More from our correspondent.
With 4 automatic weather stations, a meteorological department center for Ladakh's region started working from today. Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has inaugurated the new Met Center in Leh. Despite COVID pandemic, within 9 months of time, the new center is established to cater the arid cold desert and geopolitically all important Ladakh weather requirements. Speaking on the occasion, Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said Ladakh Met Center is one of the commitments fulfilled by the Union government for the welfare of new Union Territory Ladakh.
It's going to be a very aggressive and very positive exercise for the people of Leh and Ladakh, and it goes in tune with the overall vision of the Prime Minister, because last 1 year we have seen that so many developmental activities on so many fronts have happened in Jammu and Kashmir as well as in the district of Ladakh.
The center will provide Ladakh-specific forecasts more accurately and consistently for the region. Ramesh Chandra, All India Radio News, Leh.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital is expected to have cold wave tomorrow, while temperature will vary between 5 and 16 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a clear sky. Temperature will vary between 16 and 31 degrees. Chennai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle, and temperature will hover between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have a clear sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 11 degrees and a maximum of 24. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -4 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky too. The minimum temperature will be 4 degrees while maximum will be around 21. Leh is expected to have a mainly clear sky as well. The minimum temperature will be -12 degrees while maximum will be 1 degree. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky as well. The temperature will vary between -3 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees. Muzaffarabad is expected to have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will move from 2 to 15 degrees Celsius. In cricket, stand-in skipper Ajinkya Rahane guided India to level the Test series against Australia 1-1 by registering an 8-wicket victory in the second match at Melbourne. With a couple of players of the Indian side injured and major players out of the ground, the win is historic. Chasing a low target of 70 runs this morning, Mayank Agarwal and Cheteshwar Pujara got out early. However, Shubman Gill and Rahane kept their cool and achieved the meagre target with ease. Ajinkya Rahane, who hit 112 runs in the first innings to craft the win for the Indian side, was adjudged man of the match. For Australia, Michael Stark and Pat Cummins claimed 1 wicket each. Earlier, the hosts were bowled out for 200 in their second innings before lunch. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says infrastructure development should be kept above politics, asserts dedicated freight corridors will help in resolving problems of delayed passenger and goods train services. Dry run for COVID-19 vaccination concludes successfully in 4 states. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.92%. Union Minister of Earth Sciences Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurates the country's highest meteorological centre at Leh. And in cricket, skipper Ajinkya Rahane guides India to series-levelling victory against Australia in second test at Melbourne. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and on News on AIR app. With that, we end the evening news. Good night.